Well, this week is all about Kansas. And I got to tell you, this story, I need about 2 hours to tell the whole thing through. But start the year in Kansas, we had done work. We had the Woolly Grass Farm and we had the Caddyshack Farm. The Caddyshack Farm was just loaded with bucks. I actually went out during the summer and filmed 30 bucks just in a matter of a few minutes. But ultimately, Jeff sold that farm and it closed literally 2 days before our Kansas deer season opened. But with that, he took that money and he went and bought a new farm. We call it the Booner farm. We didn't know much about it. So first thing we did, we went out, threw some Big and J out, put a camera on it. Waited about a week and Jeff and I come back, season had opened, and right away we had a big deer, just a big 10-point, big bodied, mature deer, probably 5, if not 6.
We had 2 good deer on it. One's a big 10, probably upper 50s, maybe 160. And then there's just a big 8 with big old eye guards, just a cool mature deer. So we're gonna slip in with this game winner blind and get it set up for tomorrow, because I really think we'll have a chance tomorrow. We got a killer game winner in. Cole's got him 2 big bucks to go after. I think we might do some good tomorrow. Let's get out of here. That's some cool deer too. My brand new farm.
So September 17th, we go in. It's a cold front September, which we don't get too often. But I believe it was in the 50s, had a northeast wind, high pressure, and I was feeling pretty good. I thought maybe we'll just get lucky and roll in here and shoot this big buck.
We got bucks coming through everywhere.
One deer we ended up, we had thought about shooting, but just kind of decided, hey, he's probably only 4. I need to give him another year. This farm, we're gonna manage this farm intensely, because it's just a farm that can be just unbelievable with the amount of work and time that we're gonna put into it.
Guys, we just had 5 bucks come in. One's a deer that we've actually had a few pictures of. They got stickers, and it's gonna be a good deer. I think he's just 3 or 4. Got the potential to be really good.
So anyway, we have these encounters, just a great first hunt of the year. My job's not to hunt, my job is to film, and Jeff was out hunting. So we had to kind of go away from Kansas. We're hunting northwest Oklahoma. And when we come back, we started getting pictures on this 80 farm just south of town. We started getting pictures of some really good deer. It was a big framey 8-point who I kind of just fell in love with, but just a big Kansas 8-point. We just got to get by a bunch of does. That's the only thing that could really screw this up. So we're just going to enjoy it and see what happens. So we start hunting this 80. I'd kind of forgot about the Booner farm and the Woolly Grass. I was really focusing on this big 8-point. I was just in love with him. Jeff said, hey, go for him. And so I really kind of honed in on this 80. And I hunted this farm, I couldn't even tell you how many times, probably 10 times. And I saw this same group of bucks 7 or 8 times. There was a big 8, big 9, 2 6x5, 7x5. Again, just a bunch of really good deer. It had encounter after encounter after encounter, but just couldn't get them in front of me.
All right, guys, well, we got a game winner ground blind right back there, probably 25, 30 yards. Got some Big and J. We're dumping it out, trying to get them, trying to put them exactly where we want them. And this is the apple, so this stuff smells good, let me tell you. So we're gonna pour a little bit out. We're gonna hunt here in the next few days, and hopefully this right here will kill a big buck. So. Pretty excited. I've seen my shooters the last 2 nights. I've just been too far, so I'm hoping tonight they'll make it all the way across this field. there's a water tank right here at 47 yards, and then they just kind of come hang out here. So.
And so we're sitting there starting to, get to that good time that evening. Look up, and here comes a kind of a goofy buck, kind of a half-rack deer, and then behind him is another buck, and then the big 8. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden, the owl flies down and just lands on the water tank. And as these bucks are coming, the first one sees it. He didn't like that owl, and ultimately they all hung up. That's just kind of the year we were having.
I tell you, it's been for me and Jeff, it's been a pretty unlucky season, and a stinking owl had landed on the water tank that they were coming to. Anyway, good night. A little bit unlucky. That's just part of it. Hopefully, maybe there's a bigger reason for it.
I'll never forget, December 10th. Get a picture on the stealth cam, and it's a stud. Ultimately, we thought that this deer was a deer we call Ghost, that I had actually been hunting 2 years prior, just because he had these deep splits on his twos, and we hadn't had a picture of Ghost all year long, so we kind of assumed that, hey, this might be Ghost that we'd been hunting on the woolly grass. It was only a couple miles away. It's nothing out of the ordinary for them to travel a couple miles in this country. But then we started looking at it and we're like, hey, that's not Ghost, because we started getting pictures of Ghost on the woolly grass farm. So ultimately we started calling him Imposter. I had deep splits, really good mass, and again, didn't know the deer at all. He just showed up out of nowhere. From that point on, I pretty much made up my mind, I'm going after this Imposter deer. I've got 20 days. I'm gonna do everything I can to get on this deer. It just so happened we were getting a cold snap there in December, and Jeff had scheduled our office Christmas party that night. And we had been joking all week, like, man, we need to be hunting this day, because all of our bucks are gonna daylight. Pull up the stealth cam, boom.
And I'll be honest, I'm pretty scared about tonight. Like a good scared. On the deer that we call Imposter. He's definitely in the 70s, maybe 180. The old boat deck's ready to go, so let's go do it.
We drive up to Kansas, going into a tree stand, a muddy stand that Jeff and I had hung right on the edge of this field that we call the Booner bean field. This is where we had most of our pictures. And that night, we saw, I think, 20-something bucks, saw a bunch of deer out in this wheat field, and didn't see him. So again, another great hunt, but no opportunity. In the next few days, the weather was kind of heating up, and I was just, dead set on waiting till I had the right conditions to go in after this deer. I just elected, hey, we're not gonna hunt today. And so Ty and I ran around farms, just getting some things ready, filling up water troughs, fixing cameras, that kind of stuff. We didn't hunt, we were going out to eat, and I checked my phone, and there he is on a different camera. It's actually the same camera that I had hunted the first day of the year, where I had that encounter with all those great bucks, and I passed the one. And the next day, we had another front coming through.
Time to go hunting. Evening of December 20th. It's cold. Pressure is at 30.63, which is unbelievable. We got a northeast wind actually turning east, which would be perfect for this blind we're going into. Going to a game winner that I've been in multiple times this year. He was daylight there yesterday at 4:53, almost an hour before dark. But we're gonna get in early and just enjoy the evening, and just hope and pray that he comes by for a stroll, we can let an arrow fly. So
I was just praying, Lord, if it's your will, just let this deer come in and give us an opportunity. And it would be the biggest deer that I've ever shot in my life.
Blessing to even have a deer like this to hunt. A lot of people don't even have this chance. So Ty and I snuck in here. We had to sit down for a little bit because we had some does going down the creek, like 8 of them. And they eventually worked off, and then we got in here. So fields on all sides of us. These deer just come up and down this creek headed to the wheat. So, Lord willing, tonight's the night that he wants to come play. So, did I miss anything? What else? Oh, I'm tired of being here. I don't know if I've said that. I'm so ready to kill something here in Kansas and go home, spend Christmas with my family, and then we can start hunting again. But maybe today is the day, Lord willing. We'll see what happens.
I was talking to Ty, and I remember we had just done an interview, and I thought, I was saying, it's been a little slower than we thought it would. Turn the camera off, and all of a sudden I look up, and I see a buck. And then all of a sudden, I look to my left. This deer we call the broken G3 buck. Gonna be a stud. Just a deer that we knew was gonna be big. He was there all year, had a broken G3. So he starts making his way in, and then I look to my left, and there he is. So he starts working towards us. I grab my bow, Ty's getting on with the camera. And the way that they kind of came in, it made it tough because they swung out to our right. It was not easy for Ty to film. There was a bunch of branches and stuff in the way. Now I could see him clearly the whole time, but then all of a sudden he turned and he's about to come right in front of us.
Where'd I hit him? Where'd I hit him? On your back, I think. What was it?
I don't know what it was. I don't know exactly what happened, but I pushed it big time. I hit him way further back than I wanted to.
See him. I think you should have got one. Just quarter away a little bit, wasn't he?
I hated that I made that shot. I was pretty sick to my stomach, but I was also, it was excitement with being scared and being mad at myself for not making a great shot. But I did think, we were going to have a chance to recover this deer.
Dang it. It's back. But I think he's going to die. Oh my gosh. The biggest deer in my life. Gosh, I hope we got him, dude.
So just to be safe, we had called in Jerry and Marley to help us track this deer. It never hurts to take every precaution. Here. This is about where we shot him. Got him? Oh, thank you, God.
Is that your deer? Is that your deer?
Well, guys, we have found him. Mr. Jerry and his dog Marley came out to help us. We went and got the arrow. It was actually looked way better than the shot did, but we immediately stopped, backed out, called Jerry, and he met us over here this morning. Went 115 yards, but what a blessing. My biggest deer ever. Just again, so thankful that Jeff, lets me do this. He hired me 4 or 5 years ago, and now he's letting me shoot the biggest deer we got on the farm. So I don't know what I did to deserve that, but I'll take it. But you can see he's got these deep splits on his twos, got really good mass, bunch of trash down here on his bases. He showed up December 10th, was the first picture we had of him. And we originally thought he was a deer we called Ghost, that we had on the woolly grass about 2.5 miles from here, just because he had these twos. But then all of a sudden we started getting pictures of Ghost and realized, hey, these are 2 different deer. So we called him Imposter, that was his name. And just to be honest with you, he's probably 4. but he's not our deer. He doesn't live on us. And Jeff said, hey, if you want to go hunt him, you're welcome to. And so we did. And I didn't argue with him. We came and hunted him. And last night, the pressure was 30.63, I think. It was unbelievable. Shot him at 4:30, an hour and 15 minutes before dark. And again, just so blessed. The Lord's been good to me this year. It's my second buck. It's been good to all of us at Buckventures. We've had a really, really good year. So again, just so thankful. We're gonna get him cleaned up. He's gonna look good on the wall. He's gonna eat good, and just a blessing.
Well, hey guys, welcome to this week's Walk by Faith. Diving in today to Galatians 1:10, it says this, "For am I now seeking the favor of men or of God? Or am I striving to please men? If I were still trying to please men, I would not be a bondservant of Christ." And guys, this is a struggle I've had all my life, is being a people pleaser. And I would tell you, if you're that person, to work on it, that everything that we do should be pleasing to God. And that means a lot of times as you go and tell somebody no or this or that, you're not going to be pleasing that person. I think this takes prayer in your closet. I think this takes meditation on this verse and knowing God's Word. If you have to break that habit, that's what you're going to have to do, is lean on God to be able to do it. But to remember that we are to please God, and a lot of times by pleasing man, we won't be pleasing God. Guys, thanks for watching this week, and remember, as I always say, shoot by sight and walk by faith.